I never really was raised in church. Never went to church except for baptisms of family members or a funeral. First time I went to church, I was 7th grade. I went for about a year, and a fight happened on the bus I rode. I got in an argument with a girl that rode the bus, and then somewhere along the line, the youth pastor at the time, she got some weird idea from somewhere that I threatened the pastor, I cussed him out, and all this stuff happened. And she decided to come to my parents with it. Well, when she did, I was standing right there, called me a liar to my face, standing from 2 feet away, telling my dad all this stuff that never happened. And so I stopped going to the church, and the pastor at the time, he came up and asked why me and my sister weren't going. And I told him. So he went off and he did his little investigation, and he came back and told me, he goes, that never happened. He let my dad know that it was all a story. He goes, things are going to change. You guys are more than welcome to come back. I went back 2 more times, never changed. So I stopped going. I lost pretty much all faith in God. Like I was questioning God, if you're going to give me an experience in life like this and expect me to stay, why do you expect me to stay? So I fell away. And as I fell away, I got in a huge depression. In 8th grade, I started thinking about suicide. I had a notebook that had plans and ideas and all these things written in it to go do and just end my life and get out of it and get away from the misery. And a friend of mine at the time, she was sitting in class, and she noticed it. Well, she took it without my knowledge and took it to the principal. I thought I left it in my locker or my desk or whatever, and it wasn't a big deal. And I got home and I had a phone call from the principal asking me questions. And I was just denying the whole thing because I didn't want it to be out there. I just wanted to get it all over with and go away. And he called back again and got a hold of my parents and let them know what was going on. I had to go talk to the school counselor every day for about a month. And I worked through all that, and it sucks because at the time, the main reason I was depressed is because I was a middle child. My brother never wanted to have a thing to do with me. It was always him and his friends. And my sister, same thing, it was her and her friends. Yeah, I had my friends too, but I like my family a lot. Like, I have a big, close family, and it sucked because no one ever wanted to do anything. I got through it, but I started coming back to church sophomore year of high school. Al, his wife Chris, Mallory, and Megan came out to the trailer park, and they were talking about what they have here at this church. And it sounded like it'd be fun if I was into that stuff, but I wasn't really into God anymore. And they're like, well, we have video games, we have Xboxes. I'm really into video games, so I was like, you know what? I'll go up there, I'll play a couple games, meet some people, have something to do on a Wednesday night for school, so I can stay out later, stay up longer. And came to church and sat down, started playing Xbox. I met some good friends. I'm friends with them today still. And we're sitting there, and service started up. It felt awkward, so I went over and sat down in the back seat. The band was playing, and everybody, the kids were up worshiping and stuff. And I had this overwhelming feeling, this urge to just stand up. I didn't know what was going on, so I just stood up. I stood up and I just stood there. It was near the end of the night, and I raised my hand. And I just felt this it was a different feeling. I feel like at the time you couldn't describe it. Something new. And I leave. I came back the next week and it happened again. I stood up, and every week as it came by, I started doing more. Stepping out of the aisle, and I went up, started worshiping every week. And it changed my life, because I went from coming to church just to play games to God showing himself to me and saying, video games are fun, but here's a game. I'm calling it life. And you can start winning now that you have me in your life. You're no longer walking this empty road. You're no longer walking by yourself. You have a purpose to live and a reason for living. And you're not just walking for nothing. I always felt like I had a dream to join the military. I always felt like I had a calling towards military and leadership, and I've always wanted to be like that hero, the good guy. Came down to it, I signed up for the military. I was so pumped and ready for it. I shipped out May 4th, 2009 to go down and start basic training in Georgia. I get down there and one morning I wake up and I start running. With the morning run, we're doing a march. I twist my ankle and mess it up. And I go to the doc and he's like, well, there's something wrong here because you're telling me that you got ran over by a car before and it's injured, and the x-rays show that, but there's no medical report of it with your recruiter's paperwork. Well, my recruiter lied in the paperwork. So I got put as a holdover. I sat in a room. I was only allowed on my feet for 15 minutes every hour. Had to be laying down or sitting down for 45 minutes. The room I was in, it was pretty much pitch black, solid dark all the time. It was cold. The only thing you felt was cold and lonely. I had to be in there for days. Started getting real depressed. Not knowing what's going on, not knowing if I'm going home or if I can go down and start training and get my life going and moving. Started calling out to God. I was like, this stuff's happened before. I got depressed. I don't want to get to that level. I want to stay away from it. But I need you now. I was like, you showed yourself back then. You helped me out. Where are you at now? Like, I really need you. This is tough. It's hard. Well, I met a guy the next day. It was like friendship at first sight. First thing he tells me, he's like, yeah, I'm a Christian. And I was like, really? Yeah, me too. He's like, yeah. He goes, but are you a Christian? I was like, yeah. I live it, I love it. But I never really lived it until I met this guy. We were battle buddies. He slept on top bunk, I slept on bottom. We were best friends. All the guy wanted to do was talk about God. All he wanted to do was go to church every Sunday morning, read the Bible on Sunday. Wanted to go talk to people, tell other people about God. He just wanted to witness and spread the joy and the glory. And I loved it. Loved it. Well, come to find out I was getting sent home. So I left. I went to my company to where they sit you before you go home. And the day my buddy was leaving to go start his basic training, he walks by and he's like, hey man, I'm leaving. I hope you best of luck and we'll have to meet up sometime. I was like, yeah. We said a quick prayer and he left. That was the last time I saw him. Well, I got an email about a month and a half ago. It was from a friend of his that he served with. And I met the guy down there, and we were pretty decent friends. And he tells me how he died in combat. That he can't tell me all the details, but while they were driving through a town, and somehow an explosive came out, like was thrown out or something, and hit the Humvee. It was attached, like sitting on it. So my buddy climbs out, he grabs it, and he turns. And when he turns and he goes to toss it, it blows up. He dies. But everybody else lived. But he died saving people. He died saving people the same way he lived. All he ever wanted to do was save people. He just wanted to go out and help everybody he could.
That you're not really gone. You're not really gone.
I'm so glad I met that guy. Because it completely changed the way I look at life, the way I live. I mean, now I make sure that guides me everywhere I go. I make sure I have my stuff set and ready for when I go to work. It comes to realization that life is short. The guy would be 20 today. As soon as he graduated high school, signs up for the Army and leaves. And every day since the day I met him, all he talked about was how he wants to go talk to people. How he's gonna go try to talk to this guy and show him the light. Looking back on life, I'm glad that pretty much everything has happened. I'm glad for it because it just helped make me who I am today. I mean, with the people I've met, the things I've gone through, it just helps me look at life in different perspectives and different angles to help get through things. And I mean, I just look at life like it's a giant game. I mean, you're winning or you're losing. And there's no save points, there's no respawns. And you gotta live life for life and live it right. The only way to know if you're winning or you're losing is if you have God in your life. And when it comes down to the end, game's over. You go into heaven or you go into hell. And it's too late to make your choice then, you need to make it now. The stuff that I've gone through in my life, I feel like I'm winning right now with God on my side. That I can push through anything, I can come over anything and come out triumphant and victorious. As long as I have Jesus. And, I thank God every day for being where I'm at, and who I am, and who I have in my life. I'm Johnny, and I am second.